Some chords have the power to unlock our fretboard. You can learn one major shape and suddenly have the major chord for every note that's available. We're going to look at a shape that can take you from the first to the final position on the guitar's neck. Let's just start by forming a simple F major chord. First finger onto the first fret of the B, second finger onto the second fret of the G, third finger across to the third fret of the D. We're muting the high E with the pad of our first finger, and we're using our thumb to mute the low E, and our third finger and our thumb, a combination of the two if you want, can mute that A string. Jumping for all 6 strings if you want to get that muted feel around it. Just to clarify the notes that exist within this F major chord, the first is our root note, that's our F, and we're playing that with our third finger. The second note that appears is the major third, that's our A note, that's here with our second finger, and then the fifth of that chord is played by our first finger, and that is the C note. We take the first, the third and the fifth to form our major chord, F, A and C. Now we can move that shape up and down the fretboard already. Those 3 notes can just go anywhere up and down that guitar neck, and as long as you follow your chromatic scale, you'll be able to work out what major chord you're playing. First position, we know we're playing an F. If we move that 1, we are now playing an F sharp. Again, we're playing a G. We're playing the 3 notes that make up a major chord. The first, the third, and the fifth, and that is applicable everywhere on the fretboard. But there's a lot of work that has to go into muting those other strings there. So let's kind of take that pressure off and add another note to that chord. Let's give it a bit more body. We're going to put a bassier note within that chord. So we had our 3 fingers doing the job of the F major chord. We're now going to push our third finger up to the A string, 3rd fret still. Our little finger is now going to do the job of what the 3rd finger was doing. See how that chord's just got a bit more body? I really like that. We are now playing an F over C. We have taken a C note that already exists within that chord. We found that on the 1st fret of the B string, and we have now put it in the bass as well. We've basically reinforced that C note that exists, but essentially we're still playing an F chord. We've just taken another note within it and accented it a bit more. This time it happens to be the C note. Now you will see these referred to as slash chords. Let's look at that in a little bit more detail. They could be slash chords, or they're also sometimes known as inversions, but we have to be careful sometimes when we call it an inversion. So with a slash chord, we knew we had our F major. We've taken the C, we've put that in the bass. We are effectively playing an F major chord over the note C. That's why you'll get an F over C, which is referred to as a slash chord. You could also call that a second inversion. The first inversion would be taking the A note that exists within that F major chord. It's the note that we find after F. We have F, then we have A, it's our major third. If we put that in the bass, like this, that would be our F first inversion. We're doing a second inversion, which is our C note, which is the 5th of that F major chord. We know we have our first, which is F, our third is A, our 5th of that major chord is a C. If we put that in the bass, like we have here, it's our second inversion. And that principle would be applied again up and down the fretboard. The reason you have to be careful not to call all slash chords inversions is that we could take a note from anywhere else and put that in the bass. It won't necessarily be a note that exists within the major chord we're playing. There we knew that there was an A and a C. We put them in the bass. We can refer to them as inversions. If we pulled a note from somewhere else, it suddenly wouldn't be that inversion that we've been referring to. So that's why a lot of the time you'll see them listed as slash chords. We look at a big mix of guitar chords, and there are endless possibilities in my beginner guitar course, which is free. You can get your free access from the link in the description. Anyway, now let's add another note to this shape that we've started to move around the guitar neck. We're going to add the open E. We've now made that an F major 7. We've still got the C in the bass, so it's F major 7 over C. That E note is the 7th note of the F major scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E. So we've added that to our F major chord, F major 7 over C. Now that's going to sound lovely in certain positions on the neck. Suddenly we've taken what was that 3-finger F chord, turn it into something that's got a bit more body, and now something that's got even more life and sparkle to it. And let's start to move that around. Now that open E is not always going to resonate that nice. Depends what you're after, but that's probably not the most pleasing to the ear, so you've got to be mindful. But if that's the case, you can just lay that first finger flat. Instead of being open, First finger gets laid flat, so it's now playing the high E string. And wherever you do that on the guitar neck, as long as you keep this 3 fret distance, that shape in place, you are going to be playing the root note of that chord. If we did that here on the 5th to 7th fret, we're playing an A major or an A over E. There's our E note in the bass. If I lay that first finger flat, the 5th fret of that high E string is an A note. So wherever I do that on the neck, I know I'm going to be playing the root note of that chord. I'm playing a D here, I lay it flat, it's a high D note that comes through. Let's look at another possibility with this chord shape so that you've got more to play with when you're experimenting, when you're creating, when you're writing songs, when you're putting your own chord progressions. Because maybe sometimes you're too confined to that first position. You have these lovely open chords, but you've got this whole neck ahead of you and it can seem quite daunting at times, and you want to find a way to be able to shift up this neck without playing too many complicated positions. So we have a very major sound going on with what we're doing. We've only played the major shape so far. We've moved that F major to F major 7 over C, up and down the fretboard. We want to bring some minor chords in so we can play some really moody progressions. And there's a simple little thing we can do. Let's move to our 5th and 7th position again. We have our A major, or A over E. We are going to take our second finger off, but our first finger is going to come up so that it plays the G string. Here it is on the 5th fret of the G. We had A major, we've now gone to A minor. Obviously you can really hear that difference there. The mood has changed, and it's a really subtle difference and subtle movement to make that possible. And again, that is applicable anywhere on the fretboard. If I'm playing C major, I take my second finger off, my first finger should already be in place. To bring out that minor note, I have C minor, D, D minor. We move that minor shape up and down, same as you could with the major shape. So let's start to combine those together. Let's make a little progression from major and minor chords. We're going to be in the key of C here. We're only going to use chords that exist within the key of C. Start here, we have our C major. Slide back to an A minor, D minor, F. And we've still got those bass notes that exist in there as well. So C over G, A minor over E, D minor over A, F over C. Let's mix that up slightly. Let's bring in some of those open notes, the high E, and other times let's lay our first finger flat so it pulls out the fretted high string. Love that. I really enjoy the possibilities that are available with those small little changes to that one simple chord shape. Let's go back to that 3-finger version a minute. Now that we've moved away from just that first position, we've started to explore the fretboard a bit more. Let's make our C major on the 10th, 9th and 8th fret of the D, G and B. And we are just going to play those 3 fingers. We're going to mute the other strings around it for now, like we did in that F major first position. And we're going to add a bit more of a kind of funk possibility to these chords. Remember the minor shape that we just worked on? We took our second finger off and we used our first finger to play that G. Well, that's still available to us, just in this 3-finger version. And now those muted strings sound really great when we apply that more sort of funk, skippy vibe to a chord progression. Let's work our way up the fretboard. We're going to do C, D minor, E minor, F and G. Simple, subtle differences that make a big difference to what you're playing. So next time you're looking at a chord in that first position, start to think about the possibilities that are ahead of you up and down the fretboard. And why not use this F major shape, turn into an F major 7 over C to really start seeing what's available to you. Make your own chord progressions, see what you can create. There are a ton of options out there. As you now know, I'm a massive fan of this chord and the options that it gives you, but there's another trick that you can apply to most chord changes that will massively improve the smoothness and speed that you're able to play those progressions at. Check this video to start adding that technique to your playing. Big thank you for watching. I'll hopefully catch you in another video. Take care.